All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. And it is that time of the week, folks, as I'm set to talk about my weekly picks in this NFL season as we are up to week number 11. And I was able to get things started on the right foot last night as I picked the New England Patriots to hold serve at home against their AFC East rival, the New York Jets. I said Patriots 27, Jets 17, and it turned out to be Patriots 27, Jets 14. You look at this Patriots team, they check all of the boxes in regards to being a playoff team here for 2025, and I think it is a testament to first-year head coach Mike Vrabel and how he has gotten things turned around for this franchise. But nonetheless, we've got some good games on tap for Sunday as well as a Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks for week number 11 in this NFL season. And things get started on Sunday morning over in Spain as we got the 3-7 Washington Commanders set the tango with the 3-7 Miami Dolphins. And of course, somebody's got to win this game. Two teams that came into this season with higher expectations. Clearly, it has not worked out. Injuries have taken away from both of these teams. Of course, Jaden Daniels is not going to be playing at quarterback for the Commanders, as it's going to be veteran Marcus Mariota. For Miami, I don't know. It's like lately they have been like they've turned it up. They've been playing harder for head coach Mike McDaniel, and we saw them upset the Buffalo Bills at home last Sunday afternoon. Nonetheless, I think this game is going to come down to which quarterback executes with the ball, whether it's Mariota for the Commanders or whether it's Tua Tagovailoa for Miami. It's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. I know that the Dolphins are favored by 2.5, but I'm going to give them the edge by 2 points in this one over Washington, 22-20. Now, in the NFC South, we've got the 5-5 Carolina Panthers traveling to take on the 3-6 Atlanta Falcons. And of course, one of the biggest surprises so far this season was earlier on in the campaign when we saw the Panthers shut out and dominate the Falcons in Charlotte. You look at this Carolina team, and I know that they just lost Sunday at home to the New Orleans Saints, but nonetheless, things are changing for this team under head coach Dave Canales. And like, even though that the Panthers lost last Sunday, they've got to get back on track. And what Carolina's identity is running the football. That's a big thing. And of course, the Falcons have had issues stopping the run all season long. What are we going to see from this Falcons team? Because they show flashes of turning the corner and then they don't. I'm going to give Atlanta the benefit of the doubt at home. I know that they are a 3.5 point favorite. I just simply don't see Carolina sweeping them. When it's all said and done, I like the Falcons 23-20. Now in Orchard Park, we've got the 6-3 Buffalo Bills hosting the 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of these teams lost last Sunday, albeit for the Bucks, they had to deal with the Patriots, and for the Bills, like I previously stated, they were upset on the road, courtesy of the Miami Dolphins. For me with Buffalo, and I said this last Sunday when it happened, they just didn't show up. Okay, they showed up physically, yes, but they thought all they had to do was show up, lace them up, and be ready to go to beat the Dolphins once again. That was not the case. I think Buffalo needs to get back on track, and I think for their sake, hopefully they have themselves a good, efficient week of practice. For this Bucks team, what can you say? I'm really interested to see the matchup that is safety Antoine Winfield and quarterback Josh Allen, because Antoine Winfield, one of the better safeties in the NFL, he knows how to read and he can really dictate and change things in the secondary. For the Bucks and Baker Mayfield, it's status quo. They're starting to get some guys back, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough in this one. Buffalo's favored by 5.5 points at home. I like them by a point, 24-23. Now in the AFC South, we've got the 4-5 Houston Texans traveling to take on the 1-8 Tennessee Titans. The Texans come into this contest favored by 5.5 points on the road, and they are looking to get to 500 and do it with Davis Mills at quarterback for the second consecutive week. Going back to last week, for about 3.5 quarters, the Texans looked dead in the water until they got it going late and scored that big upset win at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know that CJ Stroud is out of quarterback for Houston, but you still got this phenomenal defense, which includes the likes of Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson putting pressure on the quarterback. You look at this rookie year for Cam Ward at quarterback for Tennessee, it has not been pretty. You look at the Titans overall, arguably the worst team in the NFL, and you can also make a case for them being one of the worst organizations from top to bottom in the National Football League. Like I said, the Texans are favored by 5.5 points in this one. I like them by 11, 27-16. Now in the NFC North, we've got the 6-3 Chicago Bears traveling to US Bank Stadium to take on the 4-5 Minnesota Vikings. The Bears are looking to avoid the season sweep at the hands of the Vikings, while the Vikings are looking to stay around in the race in that very difficult NFC North. You look at the Bears, and it has not been pretty, but most importantly, they're winning games, and that is the key thing for them. I look at this Bears defense. They've had their issues at times, and of course, when you think about facing the Vikings, it's all about stopping the phenomenal wide receiver in one Justin Jefferson. This Bears team, they're winning games, but I think they need to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency against the teams that they're supposed to beat. I'm not saying that against the Vikings. We've seen it recently with the Bengals. We've also seen it against the Giants, even though they found ways to go out there and get victories in both of those games. The Vikings are favored by 2.5 points at home in this one. I like them by 2 over Chicago, 24-22. Now at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, we've got the 2-8 New York Football Giants set to host the 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers. And of course, all of the talk around the Giants organization this week has been the fact that the team decided to move on from head coach Brian Daboll. So now it's the Mike Kafka era for the Giants. And of course, Kafka has been the Giants offensive coordinator for the last couple of years. He was also the associate head coach. He's been bumped up, and we know the changes are coming for the Giants. This is going to be Kafka's opportunity to audition for the job. Now, of course, Kafka is not going to have the Giants' number one quarterback available in this one, in Jackson Dart. He's out with a concussion. Russell Wilson has been demoted, which means that the Jameis Winston show is here. One thing we know about Jameis Winston, or a couple of things rather. First and foremost, he can throw the football. Second, he's going to make it very interesting. Jameis has the potential to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game. 2 of those might be for the other team, but nonetheless, he's going to make it very interesting. He's going to bring energy to the Giants. He's also going to bring energy to the fan base. On the flip side for Green Bay, we've seen them lose their last 2 at home. The Packers at this point of the season, I still haven't gotten a feel for them. Okay. The talent is there on both sides of the football. It just has not come together as of yet. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, this team is only going to go as far as their quarterback, Jordan Love, takes them. I want to see how this Giants team looks sans Brian Daboll. Defensively, they have had issues stopping the run all season long. So if you're a Green Bay and you're Josh Jacobs, you have to be licking your chops. But let's see if the firing of Brian Daboll lights a fire under this team. The Giants are going to play some inspired football on Sunday. Make no mistake about it. But the Packers are the better team, and I'm going to give them the 27-20 win. Now, in the AFC North, we've got the 3-6 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the 5-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. And for Pittsburgh, it's one of those where you simply don't know which Steelers team that you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. The prior week, Pittsburgh looked like they turned the corner with a big-time home win over the Colts. And then, of course, we just saw them lay an egg last Sunday night on the road against the Chargers. For the Bengals, I'll tell you like this. They are a 5.5 point underdog in this one. I guarantee you Cincinnati is going to be a thorn in the side of the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially if this Pittsburgh defense cannot get their act together and if they cannot put pressure on veteran quarterback Joe Flacco. He's going to have some moments in this game. And of course, when you think about Flacco throwing the ball deep, it's going to Jamar Chase, arguably the best wide receiver in the game. The Steelers, what can I say? Like I said before, there really hasn't been any cohesiveness in this game. Pittsburgh should win, but they are going to have to work for it against the Bengals. I'm going to take the Steelers at home, 24-20. Now we've got the 7-3 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to take on the 5-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. And of course, if you're Jacksonville, you are hopeful that there is not a hangover from last Sunday's meltdown on the road against the Houston Texans. For the Chargers, I feel like when they're on, they could play with anybody in the National Football League. Make no mistake about it. It's just a matter of whether or not the Chargers are going to bring their A game. I think this is going to be a back and forth affair. You have Justin Herbert at quarterback for the Chargers, and of course, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback for Jacksonville. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to take the Lightning Bolts on the road, 27-24. Now you got that huge showdown in the NFC West as you got the 7-2 Seattle Seahawks traveling to SoFi to take on the 7-2 Los Angeles Rams with first place in the NFC West on the line. I look at the Seahawks team. They have not lost on the road all season long. They're playing some good football under head coach Mike McDonald. But this game, in my opinion, is going to come down to the Rams defense versus the Seahawks offense. And the reason why I say it is this. The last time that Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold went up against this Rams defense in a big game like this, you go back to last January in the playoffs and Darnold's last game as the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. They put the pressure on him. Sam Darnold really couldn't deal with it. And I think that Rams defense is going to do more of the same in this one. I like the Rams at home, 27-24. Now, the other two teams in the NFC West are set to face off this Sunday as well, as we got the 6-4 San Francisco 49ers traveling to take on the 3-6 Arizona Cardinals. And all signs point to Brock Purdy returning at quarterback for San Francisco. You think about it, and you think about the talent around him with George Kittle at tight end, and of course Christian McCaffrey at running back, and those are the keys. The Niners, it's been tough on them defensively with all of the injuries, but nonetheless, I think Robert Saleh still tries to coach this unit up. You look at the Arizona Cardinals, okay, and it's one of those. This is a team that's going to be in transition right now. It looks like it's Jacoby Brissett's job for the short term, at least at quarterback for the Bird Gang. Is that going to be enough to get past San Francisco at home? I don't think so. I like the Niners 27-20. Now, the other two teams in the AFC North are set to face off as we got the 4-5 Baltimore Ravens traveling to take on the 2-7 Cleveland Browns. And don't look now, folks. The Ravens have won their last three. A win here would put them at 500. I think Baltimore is poised to go on a run in the second half of the season. And I've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. I think the schedule favors them. They're favored big in this one, 7.5 points on the road against Cleveland. We saw the Browns give the Ravens issues earlier this season when they met. Typically, the second time around, when you have two divisional foes, it could be a little bit more of a toss-up. Clearly, the odds makers in Vegas don't see it that way. I agree with them, and I'm going to take Baltimore on the road, 30-17. Now, the other big showdown that a lot of people are talking about Sunday afternoon is the 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs traveling to take on the 8-2 Denver Broncos. And for the past, close to the past decade, all right, the AFC West has been the exclusive province of the Kansas City Chiefs. But now, teams like the Chargers and Broncos have closed the gap. We saw Kansas City go 15-2 last year en route to making a Super Bowl appearance. One of those losses came at the hands of the Denver Broncos, albeit the Chiefs rested a lot of their key guys. However, in the other matchup at Arrowhead last year, Denver did everything but defeat the Chiefs. I look at this game right here. This is mega important for both of these clubs because if Kansas City loses, any chance of them winning the NFC West is basic, or pardon me, AFC West, excuse me, is out the window. If you're Denver, you want to go out there and make a statement because if you lose this game, things are going to get very interesting coming down the stretch in this division. You look at these two defenses, they can put a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback. And of course, when you think about quarterbacks dealing with the pressure, you want to give the edge in this one to Patrick Mahomes over Bo Nix. People are questioning the play of Bo Nix, and I think it's one, the sophomore aspect of, hey, you know what? Teams around the NFL now have a year's worth of game film on him, and they could see what he can and cannot do. Secondly, I think Bo Nix is taking too many risks out there with the football. And this is the type of defense, the one that Kansas City has, that if you're Bo Nix, you do not want to take those risks. I think Sean Payton has had some additional days to get this Denver offense ready to go for this one. Remember last week they played at home on Thursday night. They got the 10-7 win over the Raiders. For Kansas City, they're coming into this one fresh off of their bye, and this veteran team knows what it takes coming down the stretch in order to take care of their business and get to January. But when it's all said and done, I know that the Chiefs are the 3.5-point favorite on the road. I like Denver in this one, 23-20. Now on Sunday night, we've got the 6-3 Detroit Lions traveling to take on the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Two teams that are perennial postseason teams in the NFC, and they are looking for supremacy in that conference. We just saw the Lions have a field day last Sunday, courtesy of the Washington Commanders. They ran the football up and down the field. I don't think that Detroit is going to be able to run the football as effectively against this Eagles defense as we just saw them against the Lions, but nonetheless, this offense is still very difficult to stop. On the flip side for Philadelphia, they're 7-2. But to me, something just seems off about this team. Okay, that's just my opinion. They just don't seem to be the same cohesive unit, in my opinion, that they were last season. Not to say that they can't figure it out because there's clearly still time in the season. I just don't see the Lions being the team that the Eagles are going to be able to figure it out against. And because of that, I like Detroit to go on the road and get the 30-24 win. And finally, on Monday night, we've got the 3-5-1 Dallas Cowboys fresh off of their bye, traveling to take on the 2-7 Vegas Raiders. And I think this is going to be another one of those cases where Dak Prescott and company beat up on an also ran of the league. Geno Smith, he had a solid run for a few years with the Seattle Seahawks. I simply don't see it from Geno Smith right now. I think the quarterback play on both sides is going to be the difference in this one. And I'm going to give the nod to Dallas 27-19. So, folks, those are my picks for week number 11 in this NFL season. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I will do the same in return. And that also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, be sure to check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.